Rush Limbaugh, by the way, should absolutely be allowed to say what he did.
What, did he say something
everyone,
bad?
We'll get into that. But everyone was asking me all weekend long. I'm like, he should be allowed to say whatever the fuck he wants.
Of course he should.
Yes.
Especially because he's not a news show. I think, Jimmy, you might have mentioned that over the weekend, or somebody I was talking to.
It's not the news.
It's not the news. Rush Limbaugh's not the news
It's an
officially.
entertainment show. It's entertainment.
A lot of people didn't like what Rush said, but you should fucking defend his right to say it. Wake
Especially
up,
broadcasters.
people.
It's amazing that there's any broadcaster out there that comes out for anybody's firing or anything like that. That is, the old there, but for the grace of God, go I.
Who is saying that? Broadcaster?
Me.
Well, besides Media Matters, they target him.
But
all conservatives.
What about other broadcasters? Are they saying, he should be fired?
I don't hear them defending him.
One on the left.
Yeah.
Every broadcaster on the left.
That's how funny we are. Nobody defends the opposing. Like, what he said was kind of, it wasn't pleasant. It was inappropriate and not nice, but he has the right to say that.
Of course. That's just basic shit that people got to understand. Whether you're just a guy listening to the show right now or if you're a fellow broadcaster. Or abroad listening to the show as well.
Yeah. And if that woman's going to testify before Congress, hey, good for her. But you can't testify before Congress in a public setting and not expect some people to say things about you that you don't like.
Especially for the subject matter. If he just came out and called her a slut because she's talking about, wanting to raise more money for children or something. But if she's saying she needs 3 Gs for birth control, calling her a slut is not out of the fucking realm of comedy and talk radio fair,
She, well, now we're into it, so we'll get back to the Kirk Cameron.
$3,000 on birth control.
But what does she mean by that?
No one
needs $3,000 for birth control.
When I was growing up and doing some of that fucking.
Right.
I had some condoms around the house.
But
the occasional pregnancy test.
But that's what I'm saying. How much is $3,000 worth of
$3,000?
What does that
I think
entail?
I heard a show where that works out to fucking 3 times a day, every day.
All right, well, that's
for
ridiculous.
a year. And if that's the case, then you're a slut.
But why did she say it that way? Why would she say $3,000 for birth control?
Trying to get people to understand that it's very costly, and the insurance companies need to. If she just came on and said, "Yeah, it's like $100 a year," people would be like, "Ah, fuck you." $3,000 sounds like a lot to a college student.
See, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm in the middle on it because a part of me is like the result of people having kids that they don't want costs me more in the end. Yeah. It costs me more money. So, yeah, morally, fuck them, but hey, I don't want to pay for it. It's like, hey, if you want to fuck all that, go ahead. But make the guy put a rubber on, stupid.
Right.
Like, why should we have to pay because you don't want to tell a guy to put a rubber on his dick?
And by the way, I don't agree with that.
Me
and
neither.
I don't want
Yuck.
it. That's for sure.
But why should I pay for that?
But please, break down the number. I mean, obviously she didn't mean it literally that she needs $3,000.
No, she did.
She probably did.
She did. She's testifying before Congress.
She loves cock.
She needed a number, and she said $3,000 a year on birth control. That would be pills, perhaps pills plus the condom and a dental dam and a fucking IUD.
I'm a little out of this story, to be honest with you. So, did she realize she fucked up with her number? Did she have a...
She doesn't think she fucked up.
She still doesn't think she fucked up.
No, she loves $3,000 worth of birth control.
Oh, then what the fuck? Then Rush should say what he said.
Exactly. That's why he said it. He didn't just pull that out of nowhere.
Like I said, he should be able to say it no matter what.
Exactly.
But he's not that off base then.
Yeah.
I thought she might have fucked up her number and then came out after the fact and said, I guess I didn't do my math properly.
3 large.
3 large?
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Nah, come on. Are you...
No, that's exactly what she said.
Wow.
And she's sticking to it.
All right. Well, this is Rush. Do we have his apology? He didn't do it.
No, it was written.
Just a
Excellence
apology.
in broadcasting. Waddle doodle. I apologize.
By the way, fake apology, obviously. And
yeah.
Because he was feeling the heat.
And these cowardly advertisers run.
Well, that's the sad part.
Oh, I know.
The advertisers run these programs now, not the government.
Well, at least a lot of people. Rush has a lot of people that enjoy him,
right?
And they're coming forward and saying that they're going to start boycotting the companies that pull sponsorship.
Finally, somebody fucking does that.
A few others have said that over the years. To be completely honest with you,
but Rush does have a rabid fucking audience that will make a noise.
But I would love to see it actually make a noise.
So would I,
because that would help all broadcasters.
Yes.
You know, and there's people out there, they had to get a hold of me. They're like, can't wait for you guys to defend Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, and
well, this is how you defend him because it's America, you idiots. Rush should be able to say whatever the fuck he wants, and the advertisers should fucking relax.
But by the way,
and they shouldn't have as much power as they do. So if his listeners fight back a little bit and hurt an advertiser or two, that's gonna fucking even the playing field.
Where's all you phony liberals out there? This is why the liberals drive me crazy. How about you phony motherfuckers defend Rush even though you don't like him? Because what he said was unpleasant, and maybe it wasn't very nice, but it was absolutely not something he should get in trouble for.
Right.
Where's all the phony people sticking up for this guy's right to say something they don't like or agree with?
I love how quickly people are willing to say, you know, I don't agree with it, but I'll defend his right to say it. They won't even fucking defend the right to say it when nothing is at risk.
There's no way she's getting 3 penises a day. Look at her.
I think she's representing people. Right. I think she's more the representative.
Oh, okay.
I don't think any
she looks like Fan.
Yeah.
She should be lucky if she gets 3 a month.
I don't think
3 a day.
I don't think she's getting a lot of what they call the dick.
Someone say we don't understand how birth control works. Really?
Oh, yeah?
How?
Evan, even Mighty Mo. Who's this? Evan? All right. What's up, Evan?
Just a couple of things. It's like it's not like condoms. When a woman just takes a birth control pill once a day, I mean, I don't know the issue with the cost, but they just take them once a day, so it doesn't matter how much sex you have. If you take one pill, you can have sex 100 times.
No, you're absolutely right. But the point is, why wouldn't she pay for that? And if she doesn't have the money for that, why should I pay for it instead of her making a guy wear a rubber?
Yeah, there's other options, you know.
I think, yeah, I agree with that. I think there's a couple of things. One is that birth control isn't only used for preventing babies. It's also, well, it is preventing babies, but I mean, it's for like, people have like severe acne, a lot of cancer, like certain medications, like you take hormonal, whatever, the stuff is, the pill. And it's a lot of like saving of cost if you have people preventing pregnancies where you're going to have some damaged baby or whatever.
Now, can I interrupt? Not to jump on what you're saying. I agree with you that it can work. 'Cause I had an ex that would take it just because of her mood swings, and certain birth controls actually balanced her out. So she was only kind of a cunt and not a complete one. So it can help there. But this woman was talking about, I think, just for preventing pregnancy. Like, not because it was...
No, that's not true, Jimmy.
Okay.
She gave testimony in Congress about some other friend of hers who lost an ovary because she had some whatever condition it was. I don't even know.
Okay, Evan, it doesn't matter.
Lippyitis?
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
But let me jump in. It doesn't matter why the woman is taking the birth control. The fact is, it's not $3,000 a year. We did some quick math. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, my God. Shut the fuck up. God, I don't have these conversations in my regular life.
No.
People know when to shut the fuck up. I'm trying to help.
I can't see you. I'm just trying to...
But then the average person will go, holy fuck, he's a little irritated because I'm speaking over him, so maybe I'll just shut up for a minute. But what does this guy do? Well, I can't say it.
Got it.
Evan, I like you. Please. All I wanted to say was we did some quick math here.
Evan?
Please, God, let me talk.
And we did some quick math, and we think it's about $600 a year, not $3,000. My point being, it doesn't matter what.
$1,600.
No, that's for 3 years.
3 years.
So I knocked it down. I did a third of that.
Ooh.
So it's up to $600 a year. So it doesn't matter what they're using the birth control for. It's still only $600 a year.
Yeah, I know nothing about that, the cost issue. Hey, one other thing.
That's why I jumped
Jimmy was calling them phony liberals.
Yes.
It's fine if Rush wants to say it. In terms of this and Lynn and everything else where people are getting all heated up because, there's a backlash, this is the marketplace at work, It's like the liberals have the right to speak up. It's Rush's risk if he wants to say what he wants.
No. But let me ask you a question. And you're right. That's the argument every person uses when they want to find a reason to penalize you for saying something they don't like. Let the market dictate. Yeah. So how about this? When people speak out against gay marriage, why do liberals come and defend gay people's right to get married? I'm tripping on myself here. It's
I know
simply
what you mean, though. Yeah.
That's the argument people use when they want to penalize you for saying something that they don't like.
I don't necessarily disagree with let the market dictate, by the way. But the problem is that no one, will try to protect their favorite radio shows.
How's my dictate?
We're at a big disadvantage. The people out there have got to fucking wake up and realize how much power these advertisers do have, and they got to push back.
Meaning, if you said I'm for gay marriage, is what I'm trying to say. If you said I'm for gay marriage, and you were going to be penalized for that, like your company was going to get rid of you for saying that, the liberals would come out of the woodwork to defend your right to say that. And they'd be right to defend you. But because you're saying something that's not pleasant or that they don't like, they fucking sit there and they're happy to see him get in trouble. They're absolute phonies.
Well, because you guys are right about that. I guess I was getting back to the issue of Lynn. I mean, it's like you can understand why the NBA, if they're trying to, to make a ton of money in Asia, they're trying to tamp down any kind of shit relating to people talking about Asians and cutting off that market. That's why a lot of that shit gets, cut off, and that's why there's the big furor. I mean, of course, there's a political thing too, but you can understand why ESPN or MSG or any of these other companies or the NBA as a whole is trying to tamp that shit down. They got a lot of money.
What? What is he talking about?
He's saying that it's a financial decision they're making, where if you say something about anti-Lynn, hey, it's like an Asian slam, they're trying to tap the Asian market. Okay, I get that.
That's a stretch, I think.
And that,
I really do.
Then just say that they're doing that.
Right.
Instead of coming out and being arbitrary with, you get more in trouble for this one than that one.
Right.
I agree. I don't want to get into all that stuff. It went on for a week with you guys. I don't want to.
All right. Yeah. Someone else is saying that it is $3,000 for uninsured people.
For 3 years, Sam is saying.
3 years? So
That's
did she fuck
year.
up by saying $3,000 for a year? Maybe.
No, she said 3 years.
3 years? Oh, for the whole
She
college.
said 3,000 for 3 years. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, how about that?
So
fuck her.
The prices for 3 years.
I still don't want to pay for it.
Wait a minute.
I
So
don't pay for fucking birth control.
Planned Parenthood, you can get birth control for like $1,600 to $1,800. That's where those numbers are coming from for 3 years. She said contraception for 3 years was $3,000. So there's still $1,400
$1,200 to $1,400 difference between what Planned Parenthood is saying and what she said. I gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Well, there's the booze you got to buy so you can get fucked.
That's true. The motel rooms.
That's it.
And the every once in a while abortion.
Right.
The old oopsie, I forgot to take my pill. Could you drive me to the abortion clinic?
Yes.
How did he call her a prostitute? That to me is like, Jesus, you set yourself up for a lawsuit.
Because she's asking for money in order to have sex.
Oh, okay.
That was the analogy. It's a stretch. It's like, he wasn't literally calling her a prostitute, but she's up there saying, hey, in order to have sex, I need you to pay me. So.
Well, when this shit comes up, though, the right and the left should be defending, and they don't.
No.
It drives me nuts.
I'm defending.
This right and left shit.
You're defending.
I'm defending
your own right to speak.
Jesus Christ. And a lot of people are wondering why Rush didn't get fired, but Imus did get fired. Imus got fired from his TV show. Imus never got fired from his radio show.
Oh. That's true?
I don't think they should get fired.
No, he got fired from radio.
That's what he did.
He got TV first.
He didn't get fired from radio. He's still on ABC.
No, he got.
Oh, he went from the Fan.
Yeah, he went.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got fired. TV first.
Did he? All right.
And then radio.
Did he get fired from all his markets?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot.
Yeah, he
that
got
already.
canned, and then he came back.
Because I'm obsessed with what MSNBC did to the guy.
Oh yeah,
You're
CBS fucked him
right.
too.
Shit. Okay.
And a lot of people thought that was a move, by the way, by MSNBC to fuck CBS because once they fired him, CBS would have to.
Well, then to answer the question, Rush is way more powerful than Imus was when Imus was in his situation.
But even Rush, when the advertisers go, they would eventually fire Rush. But somebody would pick him up, and Clear Channel would be such a drastic mistake. And they probably said, "Look, this is going to be a mess." And maybe he agreed. Okay, I'll write a statement.
Right.
And it wasn't a groveling statement. It wasn't. I've read a lot worse than that.
Yeah, it's fake apology because he felt the heat. Period. But then the dummies out there go, "Oh, well, you apologized. Okay, all right." But I would be that person going, "No, I know it's a fake apology.
Fake, totally fake. He doesn't care.
It's all confusing now."
Yes.
Why is Obama? I think Rush raised the point. Why is Obama, the president, calling this woman? Now he's doing the commencement speech at her college.
God.
And it's like a great point. Did he give Bill Maher back the money? Because Bill Maher was calling Sarah Palin a cunt, which, again, it's fine. She's running for office. He could say that. But where was the outrage over that?
You're never going to find it.
It's such fucking phony indignation.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Yep.
Evan, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Evan.
All right. I'm sorry I yelled at you.
I'm not.
I'm sorry, though.
You deserved it.
I'm gonna build that bridge today. We're good. Me and Evan are good.
I'll respect the liberals a lot more when they fucking start defending people who are saying shit that doesn't completely go hand in hand with what they like.
Yeah. Well,
Once,
right. It's got it.
you phonies.
Yeah, that's the problem with this country.
I want to like them. I really do. I want to be a fucking liberal. I want to be a flaming yet left. I shouldn't say flaming. I want to be a big lefty.
You do.
I really do.
You and Weeds could hang out.
I agree with them so much on so many things, but with the language and speech, I fucking hate them, and they're as bad as the conservatives.
Yeah.
You guys had a good debate on Friday, you and Weeds.
I love Weeds, but he's a liberal I like because he's not a language policeman.
Here's what Rush said about Sandra Fluke. We kind of did this backwards, by the way, but that's okay.
What does it say about the college co-ed Susan Fluke?
Susan?
Who goes before a congressional committee and essentially says that she must be paid to have sex. What does that make her? It makes her a slut, right? Makes her a prostitute. She wants to be paid to have sex. She's having so much sex she can't afford the contraception. She wants you and me and the taxpayers to pay her to have sex. What does that make us? We're the pimps.
No, can you pause that?
The Johns.
I hate that. There you go. Okay, he corrected the Johns because the pimp doesn't pay, you dumb Rush.
Right.
How do you learn your hooker 101 lingo?
That's right. We would be the Johns. No, we're not the John. Well,
yeah.
We're not having sex with her,
that's
his
right.
point.
Pimp's not the right word.
No.
Okay, so she's not a slut. She's round-heeled. I take it back.
Hey.
Wait, he took it back at the end?
Yeah, what happened there? They
he kind of took it back at the end.
I haven't heard that part. They haven't been saying the part where he took it back.
Well, they
always the same fucking.
They seem to cut that part out.
Yeah, but Obama had to call her and fucking talk to her. You know,
just to take that seriously and take that in the context of if he was a newsman reporting that she's a prostitute and a slut. No, that was just him talking. Using figurative speech about the fact that she wants to get paid for birth control to have sex. You know, you kind of make that leap, and then you call her a slut and a prostitute, but not literal. And anyone who can't understand what he was saying is a fucking idiot or has an agenda.
And I guarantee when Rush was saying all that, the last thought in his mind was that was going to be a problem.
That's going to be a problem.
That's what radio's so weird. Like, if you went through 100 hours of Rush Limbaugh tapes, you probably would find stuff as bad as this
every day.
And I use that in quotes because I don't think any of this is bad if you're doing a radio show, or worse. Or worse, but all of a sudden, one day they decide, you know what? Nah, we're going to take that clip and we're going to fucking run with it.
And you heard it in context. You just heard it in context. When you listen to the news, it's like, and Rush Limbaugh calling this woman a slut.
Right.
And they make it sound like he was, ragging and going on and on about what a slut she is.
And then they make their edits because they don't have time. For some reason, it's such an important story, but they don't have time to play the whole clip.
No,
because they have to get to the Knicks score that everyone already knows about.
Because the actual clip, the facts, don't make the good enough story.
In the end, he kind of took it back.
He did. He was like, "Oh, okay, she's not."
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Fucking people.
Yeah. We got a girl who wants to pipe in on the birth control thing. It's Tara. What's up, Tara?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Hi.
Yell.
I was just calling because while I defend Rush's right to say whatever he wants, I'm a big advocate of free speech, I do still have a problem with the fact that people always seem to have this issue with birth control when it comes to it being subsidized by insurance companies. And Sam's right. Birth control is cheaper at Planned Parenthood, but that's because the cost of it is subsidized by the federal government, which is another thing that everybody seems up in arms about at times. And to be honest, if Viagra is subsidized by the birth control, I'm sure Rush would be glad to support Oxy being subsidized by, insurance companies.
His drug.
Can I ask you a question, though? Can I ask you a question? And it just, I'm for birth control, but when you think about it, if there's an option for her just to make a guy wear a condom, why should anybody be forced to pay for that? instead of her just making a guy wear a condom.
Well, condoms aren't 100% foolproof. It's always good to have two methods of birth control. Besides the fact, unwanted pregnancies can be far more expensive on the taxpayer.
No, but I understand that. I understand that. But forget the taxpayers. I'm talking about why shouldn't she be forced to make a guy wear a bag or double bag it?
I would assume if you're a girl, though, you could control the whole situation if you're getting your birth control pills and not assuming that the guy isn't going to fucking do what we've heard on this show, pull it off in the middle, or maybe it's a condom that's been in his wallet for 3 years. You don't even know if it fucking works anymore.
I say ass.
Or pick it up at like the dollar store.
But I'm just saying, at least from a woman's point of view, I could see where you probably would want complete control of that.
Right up the shitter. She ain't getting pregnant that way, right? You girls got to give up that asshole.
Swallow jizz.
Give up that ass.
Well, if it was a pill that existed that prevented a man from getting a woman pregnant, that would probably be subsidized by the insurance companies, and I doubt people would have a problem with it.
Miss, the bottom line is you can look at it as anti-woman when the reality is, why can't you just make a guy put a condom on?
Why not do both?
Well, why not just make him put...
Jenny, why is it such a different issue? Because it's a medication that has to do with contraception.
No, it's not. It's
a religious argument. That's different. Like, if people have views about religious issues, I can understand that to an extent. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. But when it comes to as a medication, what makes this different than any other medication?
I'll tell you what makes it different, because I'm not looking at it as a medication. I'm not looking at it when people are taking it to to treat or balance certain depressions. I'm looking at it when it's used as birth control, and believe me, I'm for it. And I think it's a great thing to use. But if you're going to have sex, why should other people be forced to pay for it when the option is make a guy put on a condom? And you can say, well, why not do both? Well, if you can afford both, you do both. But if you can't, because I don't think you see a tremendous amount of people getting pregnant from, if you make a guy put on 2 condoms.
Yeah, but the condom's not a guarantee.
Neither's the pill.
Well, it's
because women miss their pill.
I think the odds are better if you're controlling it, though. I think is what's important to some of the women out there.
Women are terrible with taking those things on time and shit.
And honestly, I want women taking birth control pills.
Well, I do too.
Fuck, you don't want more unwanted kids out there. We have enough of them.
Nothing
already.
better than shooting that one.
Sheldon Mack, who
right up in that shit.
She either hates us or loves. I don't know what this broad's about.
Oh, she
spews a lot of fucking hate on Twitter, but she listens every day.
I think it's a guy, by the way. I don't believe that's.
I don't believe it's a woman either.
It's not a woman.
She goes, Opie, you can't be this stupid. Oh my God, this woman was not talking about herself. I know that. She was talking about women's health care in general.
Right.
I know that. Anything else, Tara?
That's it. You guys have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you, Tara.
All right, good call, I guess. Was it a good call, Sam? That was a good call, right?
I think so, yeah.
So Russia's feeling the heat. They just played his clip again.
Of course they did. Of course the media is going to, and not one of these frauds will stick up for him. Not one of them.
What about Fox News? What are they doing with this whole thing?
Honestly, don't know.
Because that's where you need to look.
I haven't watched the news all weekend.
Well, Fox News can't ignore this. Are they defending him? What are they saying?
I think they
would assume Fox News would defend him.
They
at least,
report.
right?
You decide, Opie. That's what I think.
Oh, brother, trickery.
What?
That's trickery.
They report. You decide.
That's trickery.
Decide if you want to watch me on Red Eye and Hannity on the 16th.
Nice.
Wow, you're doing both?
Yes.
How you pulling that off?
One right after another. Boom, boom, boom.
Very nice.
That's how we roll now.
Very good.
Yeah.
So they don't have an agenda over there. They report, you decide?
They report, you decide.
Okay.
It's not that lean forward bullshit that's going on in MSNBC, that's for sure.
Well, they might lean a little forward.
Lean
certainly.
forward.
Oh, God.
Lean forward into the guillotine, you fucking pieces of shit. Hate them.
Lean forward.
Lean forward. Oh, really? You're that fucking... They're so pompous, they literally think that they're leaning forward. They don't lean left. We're leaning forward. Shut up, you lefty. Faking it, trying to fake it.
You guys even hearing yourselves, love your show, but you're sounding like a bunch of douches right now.
Well, why? Again, instead of the Twitter people, why don't they just call up? I don't know. Why are we sounding like douches?
And then that Sheldon Mack is just out of her mind, or he, whatever.
Why wouldn't you block that? I blocked that thing the first time I read what that thing said. I blocked it.
Which one?
Because it doesn't bother me. I'm reading her shit. This is why Opie and Anthony are full of fucking shit. Fucking get some facts, you idiots.
That's why I think
we got some facts by going on the phones today. Women take the pill for many, many things. We said that. It's part of her fucking health care. What is wrong with you morons? No, she was not. Whatever. I don't know what that means. It's expensive because cost a lot and it's for many, many reasons. Google, blah, blah, blah. You woman-hating fuckwads. I think we got all these facts out, by the way.
I'm a woman-fucking hate-wad, by the way, so just shut up.
We love women.
It's a lot different.
You people are going to make me late for work. Jimmy, you're tripping on your words because what you're saying is fucking stupid.
Don't read me what they say. What she says about me. I blocked that fucking phony man under a woman's name.
It is a man.
You're a man.
Yep.
Fucking another internet fucking pussy using a fake name.
You think it's a man?
I know it is. I know it is. It's not a woman.
Ew, that's weird to have a sexy fucking black avatar lady.
Of course.
It doesn't come off like a woman.
That makes it strange.
It doesn't come off like a woman.
Whatever. Wow,
Yeah,
we're just discussing this shit.
People get all up in arms. They get all fucking crazy when you discuss stuff.
To dumb it down, I'll say it again. I think Rush should be able to say whatever the hell he wants on his radio show. But unfortunately, that's not the case in this day and age because the advertisers,
they're king.
Showed some anger, and then Rush had to do the fake apology to kind of like calm everyone down.
Ridiculous.
But I hope Rush Limbaugh's listeners, if they really believe that he has the right to say whatever he wants,
they boycott the fucking.
We'll push back in a way
sponsors.
where it's a little noticeable because that'll help everybody in the end. Because the advertisers have way too much power these days.
Yep.
I mean, there are radio stations and companies that used to tell the advertiser, "Go screw."
Mm-hmm.
We're defending our guy.
It's like, there's somebody else to take their place. No problem.
That went away. What? Maybe 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah. The good old days.
That's me dumbing it down. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
He's a blowhard, Rush, at times. But even in that clip, in the end, he kind of took it back.
Yeah, he was like, oh, okay.
Right.
We do that all the time here. You just bring something up, you go off on a tear, and then you're like, oh, maybe not.
Right.
Right. It's a goof. It's a goofy thing to do.
Because people say Rush would never, sorry, we're starting the show, but we're all fired up. People are like, well, why are you supporting Rush? He certainly wouldn't support you guys if you were in trouble. I don't care.
Is that what it takes?
That's not where I'm at.
Right.
Is that how it works? You only support the people that support you when you're talking about freedom of speech? And
unbelievable.
Yeah, great. Good morning.
Yeah.
Super Tuesday morning. Good morning, Super Tuesday morning. Yeah.
Super Tuesday. Yes. Sorry. No, because I'm very surprised that Mr. Imus is not supporting Rush Limbaugh.
Was Mr. Imus doing a character when he didn't support him? No.
Hell no.
That was Imus.
I mean, I think I told Ant before the show, radio guys, they're all for themselves. So if a guy gets in trouble, for some reason, everyone gets really excited, like, yeah, man, fuck him.
Good.
Get him off the airwaves, because then that makes you a little more powerful.
Gives you an extra fucking market, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But my thought would be that it hurts everybody and that you have to support these guys no matter what,
Yeah.
I was saying on Twitter yesterday, I don't even necessarily like Rush Limbaugh or his show.
No.
But I certainly would support him to be able to say whatever the hell he wants on his radio show as long as it's within FCC guidelines.
Yeah, I don't care what he fucking talks about.
But people are like, no, this sexist pig needs to be taken off the air.
Does he?
Oh, now he's a sexist pig because of one thing?
Yeah.
Or is it a few things? Or is it what? He spends his entire show going after women? I don't think so.
And how about the fact that, do you listen to his show on a daily basis? Probably not. Then why the fuck do you care if it's on or not on?
Exactly.
Let the people that do listen to it, listen to it. People are so willing to just take away other people's shit.
Right.
You know, I enjoy listening to him on the way in.
Right.
Oh, you do?
Right.
Well, not anymore because I don't think it's appropriate. Well, do you listen? No, but
right.
Shut the fuck up.
I tweeted that there's a big difference between being offended and the end was in capital letters, and being offended and wanting a show taken off the air for no one else to enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
There's a big difference there. You're absolutely allowed to be offended by what we say, what Rush says, what Imus says, Howard says. Absolutely, you're absolutely could be offended by what you hear.
But then you want
because you're offended, you don't want anyone else to hear that particular show. That's crazy talk. Crazy talk.
They want him gone, dude. They've wanted him gone for so long. They're fucking gunning. This is just the chant. It's like when the star athlete fucking pulled his Achilles, everybody's just jumping on. That's all it is.
Yeah, of course, but there's people that do enjoy the show, and it will affect other broadcasters if he goes, and that's why this is extremely important. And people are like, well, it's a free market society. You could tell I was fucking dealing with this all night yesterday. But what the hell? I like the debate I had on Twitter where they're like, it's a free market society, and yeah, he has the right to say what he did, but then the advertisers have the right to pull out. The advertisers are feeling the heat, and made a good point before the show. These advertisers absolutely do not want to pull out of Rush Limbaugh. Just about every single one of them, if you sat them down behind closed doors.
There's no morality or ethics that are keeping them from staying on his show. That has nothing to do with it. They panic, and it's not the community standards. It's not the the marketplace that's dictating.
Right.
That's what people have to understand. It's like, well, the consequences are saying that. The marketplace will speak. No. A minority, a small fucking nothing of the marketplace will speak very loudly and scare the living shit out of advertisers using mob tactics. Using mob tactics.
I completely agree.
To take away the freedom of speech, to take away the freedom to let other people listen to something. And again, technically, yes, it's the station. It's their station. It's a private enterprise. It's not like you just have a soapbox on a corner and you're spewing your fucking whatever. So technically, yeah, there is this accountability that goes with what you say. But he's not inciting riots. He's not. He really isn't slandering anybody. This is him talking about, and the way he presented it was fine. He said, hey, she's asking for money so she could have sex. Now, I know when people ask for money for sex, that's called prostitution. She's a slut because she's... That's how he presented it. It was done in a very theatrical way. It wasn't as if they were sitting together at a movie theater or a library or something, and he walked up, pointed his finger at her, and said, you slut! You slut! Yeah,
but that's how it's being portrayed on TV now.
Because no one saw or heard the clip.
Of course.
It's the way the news portrays it.
Of course. Once again, no one actually heard the show that day.
So you get these idiots that go, Rush, that bully called that nice girl a slut? No, not really. He was painting a picture about a woman that's asking for money so she could then have sex with birth control, and making the analogy that if you ask for money for sex in any way, shape, or form, you're a prostitute. Many guys in the entertainment field or just sitting around with their friends in a bar have brought up the fact that if a woman won't have sex with you unless you take her out to a nice dinner and have a date where you get her something and treat her and spend some of your money, they've speculated that that's prostitution. Now, is that literally calling the girl a prostitute? No. But the media has jumped on this in a way that now history will always say and present it in a way that Rush Limbaugh walked up to a girl and pointed at this poor girl and called her a slut and a prostitute. And that's now what really happened because that's the way it's been presented.
And AOL pulled out their advertising because, let's be honest, Ariana Huffington and the Huffington Post is a huge part of AOL.
Motivated,
and she obviously does not like Rush. She's very, very far left.
Well, then why was she part of the advertising to begin with?
I'm guessing they had already had a long-term relationship. I'm going to assume they were already there.
Yeah.
When by the time, I think they've only been there for a year and a half or 2 years, and they probably had a long-standing, and this is a chance to get them. And Obama calling her, which, Rush raised a great point about Bill Maher. Hey, look, I mean, Bill is a comic. He should be able to say what he wants. But he called Sarah Palin a cunt and a stupid twat. And why isn't Obama, and I know she's a public figure in Sandra Fluke, I get the difference. But look at the barbarity of that language and compared to what Rush said. How come Obama wasn't calling Palin?
Get on the phone.
Come on.
Obama should stay the fuck out of it, first of all. But if he is going to get in it, he should say, look, Rush has the right to say whatever the fuck he wants in this country. You might not like what he says, but he has the right to say it.
Wouldn't you love the president or any politician?
That's exactly what he should say.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what Obama should say.
Do you know?
Has been the lapdog for the right, so it's political.
Of course it's political.
But do you know what a breaking of the conventional lines it would be? If Obama came out and said, look, I don't like what Rush Limbaugh said. I think it's rude.
Right.
It's inappropriate. It's nasty.
Right.
But in this country, the price you pay is people say things that are rude and nasty at times.
He had a great opportunity, but that's a scary place to go, obviously.
Because it's real forward progressive thinking, not this fake shit.
That's real talk. That's real talk. So, yeah, I guess in this free market society, advertisers have decided they don't want to be on Rush's show anymore. But like Ant made the point, they're feeling the heat and the pressure. That's all that's about. These guys are fucking... I got to be careful. We deal with advertisers. Trust me.
Yeah.
They're whores. They want their product on these type of shows.
And they're wimps. They can't fucking stand up for 2 seconds to back somebody.
Kind of wimpy, right?
They can't for a second back anybody. They pull out. Ah!
The one thing I would say, I think, maybe even our show, I don't know. If you really like a radio show, the audience has got to get together. They have to finally organize.
Yeah, they never do, though.
They never do, but the problem is they got to, or whatever show you really like, whether it's ours, Howard, Imus, fucking Rush,
you lose.
They're gonna take that show away because no one pushes back. The audience doesn't have a voice to push back because they're like, I think you said it a long time ago. It's like kicking an anthill. Like when we got in trouble over the years, God bless our listeners, because they wanted to organize. They didn't know how. Yeah. So when we got fired or got in crazy trouble, our listeners to this day always did the right thing as best they could. But I think I had the analogy. It's like kicking an anthill. There's our listeners like, okay, what do we do first? And there's no way to put the anthill back together. But somehow, I think if we're going to survive, the listeners of these radio shows have got to get together and show that they're a force too. And if an AOL or something is going to, yank out of the program, then you could go and say, well, fuck that. We're all yanking out of AOL.
Yes.
That's the only way this is going to work. Because these assholes on Twitter, they drove me nuts. Free market society. And me and you and Jimmy, we all know we've been through this. It's a minority that is speaking up and scaring the shit out of these advertisers, unfortunately, and scaring the shit out of the radio company itself.
If you literally were able to get a hold of the free market that was listening to Rush,
right,
you would realize that it is such a small percentage of people that are offended to the point that they want him off the air. You can't even, it wouldn't even register. That's how small a portion of the actual listeners are.
Right.
Now you get the people that never heard the show. They hear the news account and want him off the air for some reason.
And it's not a free market. That's a really weird line people walk.
Yep, they love saying it.
Well, it's easy. That's what they go with always.
And it beats the option, which is we want you gone because we don't like what you say.
Don't like what you're saying.
When you're supposed to have freedom of speech, I understand he's not being thrown in jail for what he's saying, but you're not supposed to lose your job when you don't break the rules. The rules are the FCC. That's why the FCC is there. The government already says, here's what you can't say.
Yeah.
He was saying what he wanted to say. His opinion was being heard. People liked it. A free market society is if his ratings drop and they fire him. That's a free market society. Because no one's listening.
Of course.
Why would we advertise here?
Yes.
That's free market. But why don't they wait and see how the next rating book plays out?
Right.
If they're right, maybe if these advertisers are right, maybe his ratings will drop. People in droves will run away from his show. Advertising numbers go in the toilet. That's free market society. This pressure is not that.
That's a pure free market society.
Right. That's a lie. The guys on Twitter are lying.
Of course.
Should you have a threat over your head to lose your fucking job and livelihood based on the content of what you say that has nothing to do with FCC violations or anything? No, and that threat is there. That's why I say it's mob tactics. There's a threat, and a threat should never be put over your head to to dictate what you say, your freedom of speech. No.
Stephen in Ronkonkoma, and shut up. He slandered the shit out of a private citizen.
Didn't slander her.
He didn't slander her, first of all. And second of all...
Try to make that one stick,
and
dummy.
Second of all, you're allowed to do that. And there are ramifications. She can now turn around and sue him if that's exactly what happened, sir.
He was drawing an analogy between somebody asking for money in order to have sex, whether it's a prostitute or a slut asking for money for sex, or a woman that is in front of Congress asking for money so that she can have sex. That's the analogy he was drawing. He wasn't pointing his finger at her and saying, this woman is a slut, this woman is a prostitute. He was saying, if she's asking for money, what do they call that? That's called prostitution, if you ask me. If you listen to the fucking clip, you'd realize that. It's not a slander case. It absolutely is not.
And her private citizenship is lovely. But when you testify before Congress,
hey, public,
you put yourself in the public eye, and you hold yourself up to be criticized or commented on.
It wasn't like she was just minding her own business, and Rush found her on the street somewhere.
So you shut up.
And then this guy says, someone with a wide audience on public radio should not get away with denigrating women and have continued success. And
you can get away with denigrating women.
Of course you can.
Continued success.
But that's what these people don't understand. Of course they can. Yeah. And you're a bunch of idiots for wanting this to go away. Look at regular radio, what that has become.
Yeah, you like it?
Because this started a long fucking time ago, you dummies. All you have to do, seriously, for the people that don't really understand what our point, all I ask is spend the afternoon today listening to regular radio.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because maybe you haven't in a while. It is horrendous how bad it's become, and it's because of this shit.
Yeah. There's nothing fun and original on it.
No one, including our fellow broadcasters, pushed back when this shit was going down, starting about 10 years ago, by the way.
And now they're finding a way, by the way, to even go after your political guys.
Right.
Never on a political point, but every one of them, I don't care what side of the fence you're on, is going to say something that if you grab it, I guarantee you there's 500 things he said that could have been grabbed. This happens to be the one that clicked. So every one of you people out there with a political show you like, this is what's going to start to happen.
Right.
They're getting rid of people.
Right, man. And I was trying, for the people that don't understand, you're all on Twitter, right? Just wait till they get to Twitter next, down the road. Wait, and you go, oh, that can't possibly happen. Really? We come from a place where you were allowed to say whatever the hell you want on the radio as long as you're stuck within the FCC guidelines.
Yeah,
that's sort of what Twitter is right now, right? You watch, and then maybe you'll finally understand what the fuck's going on in this country. It's unbelievable. I am so fucking fired up because people are just stupid to just throw their freedoms away.
They love
They're just
throwing freedoms
stupid.
away. I've never seen
and it's always
people
because they personally don't like something they heard or saw.
So
and it has nothing to
just
do
throw
with
their
government
freedoms
guidelines.
And why don't the civil libertarians, why don't you just be a little unpredictable and defend a guy who you genuinely don't like?
No.
Really, why don't you just defend this guy's right to say something that, was shitty?
They'd sooner defend a rapist that they feel isn't getting the defense that he deserves in a courtroom, which, that's fine. That's what they're there for.
Fine.
But they'd sooner do that than defend Rush for what he said.
Why don't you guys stick up for him? Even if you hate his guts and you think he's a pig and his show stinks, fair enough. But why don't you guys, for once, stick up for somebody who you're doing what the conservatives do. You're doing the same thing that you always complain about. This is the type of thing that, say it was some crazy sexual discussion that had taken place, that would have been a witch hunt when Bush was in office. That's what all the fucking liberals complain about. And you're right. Jesus, don't do the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And people get confused. I'm not a fan of Rush. I'm not a fan of Rush Limbaugh.
I've never listened to his show.
You don't have to be.
Never.
As a radio guy, I checked it out. It was never my thing, to be honest with you. I never understood why he got as big as he did. That's all.
I hate the way he talks. The ditto hands.
Right.
Shut up, fatso.
But I understand how you got to support this shit.
Yes.
And people ask me about Imus. I'm like, I'm very disappointed that Imus went after him instead of realizing that this is important. But he's his own person. Fuck.
Yeah, people are dumb. People love throwing their rights away too. They just love it because they can't see any deeper than, oh, I hate Rush. Good. I hope he's off the air.
Right.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, really, dude? Because, who do you listen to? If they slip up, what do you think? They're going to get a pass because you like what they say? No.
Another person that needs to be called out is this fucking blowhard Ed Schultz on MSNBC. I was watching him last night.
Douche.
He's a complete fucking dude.
Ed Schultz is a slut.
Wait, you mean MSNBC is not defending Rush?
Yeah.
That's really shocking.
I know.
No, I'm not surprised, obviously.
No,
I understand, Fox is probably going to mostly support Rush and MSNBC is not, right? But my problem with Ed Schultz is he's a fucking radio guy. That's why I fucking hate that twat.
What's he saying?
Because he should understand this shit. He without coming out and completely saying it, wants him gone. And Rush and Ed Schultz called Laura Ingraham a slut and had to apologize and all that and grovel, so he understands how this game is played. But then he did a whole thing on a show last night, like how what he did is different than what Rush did because of how he apologized. But his apology was just as fake and not sincere as Rush's was.
How is Rush's? Do we have his on-air apology?
We have explaining his apology on the air.
Okay.
I've never hit the table as much as I have today.
I'm
out of my mind.
It's infuriating.
And then people think I'm a Fox guy. I'm not a Fox guy.
What?
I'm probably moderate to slightly left, you idiots.
You're Foxy.
I am Foxy. But this Ed Schultz, I'm like, he does a radio show on Sirius XM, and you want a radio guy fired? You're a dope. You're a stupid fucking dope. They almost took your show. You barely survived. You had a grovel on MSNBC. They played part of it yesterday, a 9-minute apology to Laura Ingraham, because he knew damn well he was in deep fucking trouble.
And now he's bitching about Rush.
Yeah, but because he's trying to say it's different, because he was sincere.
It's always
and
different.
blah, blah, blah. It's pretty much the same thing.
None difference.
Yeah, you had a gun at your head. You said you were sorry, better than he did with a gun at his head, you fucking fraud.
Exactly.
And Ed, when you fucking dye your hair, you gotta wash your scalp good. It's all fucking. You look like an idiot yesterday.
Can I see Ed Schultz's picture?
He's got dark hair.
Ed Schultz.
And his fucking scalp is all dark because he dyed his own skin. Kept the dyeing too long, you idiot.
Ed Schultz.
Just another fucking. Everybody is so predictable on their opinion. Yeah. The left will say this and the right will say this.
That's what drives me
Dumb
nuts.
Country.
Sometimes they got to get together. I understand you're on a side, but it can't always be like that. You got to kind of come together every once in a while. Obama completely disappointing in this whole thing.
Why is Obama, again...
Shut up. It has nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with you. How about you worry about what's going on in fucking Iran and Israel instead of what's happening to this fucking stupid Sandra Fluke, who looks like Than, who used to work for us. Look at her face. She looks like Than. I've had enough of her and her Inspector Gadget face.
Well, he knows he could pick up...
teeny mouth.
He knows he could pick up a few of the women's votes out there.
He's already got the women's votes. Already got them.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt to get a few more is probably what he's thinking. And to the women out there, I'm sorry. We support women issues on this show, but you got to wake up.
I love fucking without a bag. Good. Get on the birth control.
Absolutely.
Is this the Ed Schultz apology?
No, this is what he played yesterday.
Let me see. Yeah, start over. This will drive you nuts. And not surprising, but what puts it over the top for me is another radio guy.
Not going to wait for apologies from the left ever. And you shouldn't either. They won't come. Don't expect apologies. They're never going to apologize to you or to me or any of us. That's the difference between them and us.
Really? Rush Limbaugh is trying to defend himself by claiming liberals never apologize. As usual, he's flat out wrong. But there are a lot of right-wingers out there comparing Rush Limbaugh's ugly tirade for 9 hours against Sandra Fluke to an inappropriate statement I made for 12 seconds last year about Laura Ingraham.
9 hours?
First of all,
I don't think he went on for 9 hours.
It wasn't 9 hours, you fucking asshole. And what's the difference if it's 12 seconds or 9 hours, by the way?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the difference. I said it for 12 seconds, so it's okay.
Right, that's right.
He said it for 9 hours, so he's bad.
There's a time limit? That's cool. Okay. How long can I say bad, horrible
That was my
thing?
setup, obviously. It's the same fucking thing, Ed Schultz, you dope.
Well, I only raped her vaginally.
Right.
He raped her anally and orally and vaginally.
And he went
worse.
back for a second time.
Yes.
He's a blah, blah, blah.
He took longer to come than I did during the rape.
Exactly. Go ahead. And this guy...
Right-wingers out there comparing Rush Limbaugh's ugly tirade for 9 hours against Sandra Fluke to an inappropriate statement I made for 12 seconds last year about Laura Ingraham.
Inappropriate statement.
Drawing a moral equivalence between me and Rush is not only inaccurate,
By
but
the way,
it diminishes
can you pause
the
this?
outrage.
I'm sorry. We're going to pause this a lot.
This hypocrite motherfucker.
He's a
because
cunt.
if this twat was being completely honest and fair, he should play what he said about Laura Ingraham right
there you go.
And let the fucking viewer decide how bad it was. You notice how he's not going to play the clip because it's going to make him look bad.
And did you hear how he presented what Rush said there? He goes, Rush's 9-hour tirade bashing and my, my little misstep.
9 hours, that's so not true.
No.
He did it for 3 days. So what, is Rush's show 3 hours? I don't even know. So is that what he's saying? It's 9 hours because of that?
It's not.
It's certainly not.
Just trying to somehow... It's like he knows he's a hypocrite, and he's trying to set up why he's not a hypocrite.
Yeah, he's trying to own it.
He's trying to make it about himself a little bit, too.
Cocksucker.
And this cunt, if you had him at a bar somewhere, would openly admit to you he wished he was Rush Limbaugh, as far as, his radio show went. Go ahead.
Just nature of Limbaugh's prolonged attack on Sandra Fluke. And Limbaugh has completely failed to offer an adequate apology. A statement on a Saturday afternoon, a much lower profile being used.
Pause. Sorry, but he's smart enough to know that it doesn't matter when Rush Limbaugh made his apology or made his statement that the whole fucking world was going to take it and go with it. So
doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter if he did it in the middle of the fucking night.
Time or place of an apology matters.
I've seen Rush's apology probably 20 times, and I wasn't even searching it out. It's everywhere.
This guy's got a lot of apology rules and a lot of things that make him different than Rush.
He's in the media. He's being dishonest. He knows how the media works now. If you throw a statement out there when everyone is focused on you, don't worry about it. Everyone is going to
get out there.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
He's offered up a series of excuses. And his so-called apology only came after a bunch of his advertisers cut and run.
Pause that. That's when everybody apologizes when they're in trouble.
Of course.
Yeah. When you're a kid and you knock the lamp over, you don't apologize unless your mother goes, "Who knocked that lamp over?"
Right.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
Right. And did Ed just out of nowhere decide he was going to apologize when he said that?
Of course not.
Or were people saying, "Hey,
wait till you hear that"?
Yeah.
Because see. We have the inside scoop. We know how this shit works. And he's lying to his viewers. Wait till you hear that.
Piece of shit.
Wait till you hear that one.
Station list is going to get
pause
short.
that again. Yeah, and Jimmy is absolutely right. No one in the end wants to apologize for anything.
No.
Especially in radio.
Yuck.
A much lower profile being used. He's offered up a series of excuses. And his so-called apology only came after a bunch of his advertisers cut and run. And now the station list is going to get short. When I made an inappropriate comment last year
His was just
on
an inappropriate
my radio
comment.
show, I took it to a much higher platform. I went to management here at MSNBC, and I said, I've made a mistake. I need to take myself off the air without pay.
Pause. Thank you.
Shut up.
Thank you, Ant. Thank you.
Shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
Management dragged you in.
Thank you. The reaction I knew you would have.
You fucking had a meeting with management. How could we fucking quell this? All right, look, take some days off.
Right.
And,
No one is that goody two-shoes on the radio, even the idiots that just play jazz songs. He knew he was in deep fucking trouble, and he went to he either went to management or management went to them. They certainly worked together and said, what can we do? We got to get, it's called getting ahead of the story.
Right.
We
Damage
all
control.
know. Damage control. We got to get ahead of this before it gets out of control. So what we're going to do is, how about you take responsibility and you take yourself off the air? Oh, that's great. That's great. Let's go with that.
He turned the mic off and went, man, I don't like what I just said. I'm going to take myself off the air.
I shouldn't get paid.
Do you know
fat
something?
Isn't he the worst?
What a douche.
Let me tell you something. I really don't like some of the stuff I said this morning. I'm taking myself off the air.
Oh, you
today.
know what, Ed?
Yeah.
I think I'm
Can
with
he get
you.
my truck? I'm taking myself off the air and going to bed.
I think I'm with you on that.
And getting paid, of course.
Yes, well, of course.
He won't get paid. But...
You know how many times we fucked up and they told the media, you know, we took Opie and Anthony off. There was a famous one in Boston where we didn't get fired for. I forgot exactly what it was. Bruce Mittman sat us down and goes, "Don't worry, we're paying you, but we need to like, you know, calm everyone down. So go enjoy a few days off, play golf, do whatever you want. Don't worry, you'll still get paid." And then the story in the media was Opie and Anthony taken off the air and not going to be paid for the next week.
Yeah.
Happens all the fucking time.
Meanwhile, paid.
Paid, of course, every fucking cent. I got every fucking cent from every company I ever worked for.
Ed Schultz is an idiot.
Dude, this drove me nuts yesterday. And more because he's a radio guy. That's why it really kills me. Obviously, MSNBC is not going to support Rush, which pisses me off because I think everyone should just fucking jump in and support the guy.
They're so dishonest.
But on top of him working for MSNBC, knowing he's a radio guy drove me almost insane last night.
And them not supporting him, but it's the same as Imus not supporting, or him not supporting Imus. It's this piranha mentality that people get when one guy who's big is going down. Everybody just kind of gathers around and kicks at him and thinks that they're going one step up.
Right.
Like these dumb, anyone who's happy to see him get thrown off who's a radio guy thinks that their slot is somehow going to go up a notch because he comes down. It's not an elevator.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. He comes down. It doesn't mean that you shoot up, you dumb motherfuckers.
In this day and age, every radio guy is in deep fucking trouble of this happening to them.
Why are we the only ones defending these guys who I don't even listen to? I don't even like his dumb fucking show. Sarah Palin, shut up. He annoys me. He annoys me. He's a biased fatso.
I guarantee if you spend a few hours, you could probably find quickly 100 things that are worse than what he said about this broad.
Yeah, that we've said so far and will continue to say. Hear.
All right, here we go. Ed Schultz.
While Limbaugh apologized on a website, I apologized on MSNBC, a much bigger platform.
Than Rush's website?
No, it's not. Come on. See how dishonest this guy is? No, I don't even remember seeing Ed Schultz's apology because guess what? In the scheme of things, it wasn't as big as the Rush Limbaugh thing. And Rush Limbaugh apologizing on a website which is now picked up by every media outlet in the fucking world. It's on every website, you dope.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you take Rush's apology and Ed's apology and see how many people actually heard and read it, Rush blows his away.
Jesus.
The guy's so dishonest.
He's dishonest. I would hope he's delusional, but I just think he's dishonest.
He's not delusional.
He's
dishonest. He knows this is how he's going to play it.
But does he really think that MSNBC is a giant platform? Have you looked at the ratings, Ed?
Yeah, I think
nobody's watching MSNBC.
It's a joke. Yeah,
it's a fucking horribly rated network. Nobody remembers your apology.
Well,
nobody.
I honestly think we have more listeners than he has viewers.
Yeah,
and that's not even saying much. Nobody watches that shitty network.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
You just assume TV shows have more viewers in general than radio shows. But I think this little fucking show has more people. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And where I made the I'm sitting at home over the weekend, and I'm looking at Twitter.
He doesn't even believe what he's saying.
And this is how low it can get. People having fun in the social world. Well, you've got to drop Ed, too, because of what he said about Laura Ingraham. Really?
Yeah.
This is how
that's how it should work, right?
My apology. On my radio show yesterday, I used vile and inappropriate language when talking about talk show host Laura Ingraham. I am deeply sorry, and I apologize. It was wrong, uncalled for, and I recognize the severity of what I said. I apologize to you, Laura, and ask for your forgiveness. It doesn't matter what the circumstances were. It doesn't matter that it was on radio and I was ad-libbing. None of that matters. None of that matters.
Pause right there.
It matters because you brought it up.
That's why you brought it up, fat boy. Of course it matters. It doesn't matter that I really didn't mean it, and technically it's not an FCC violation.
That's what he was saying right there.
You fucking twat.
It doesn't matter that I was ad-libbing. Hey, screw the fact that, people do this every day.
Right. He's sucking the man's asshole. He's sucking the man's asshole.
A cunt.
The man beating fucking the greater fucking being of this media world.
And no one just does this. No one just does this. What happened that made him get on the airwaves and do this? If there was nobody saying anything like calling for an apology, he would never apologize out of the kindness of his heart.
He was scared. He heard the footsteps coming for him.
Yep.
Well, he put himself in bed without supper. Yeah. That's all it is. He put himself in bed without supper because he heard the footsteps.
And that's why he's been through it. That's why he should, step up and go. Obviously, MSNBC wouldn't allow it. He's not his own person on there.
No.
Obviously. It's not he doesn't even know who the fuck he is.
What matters is what I said was terribly vile and not of the standards that I or any other person should adhere to. I stand before you tonight to take full responsibility for what I said and how I said it, and I am deeply sorry. And the only way that I can prove my sincerity in all of this is if I never use those words again.
I'll never do it again! That was a good one.
I'm so glad you guys are enjoying
Oh, my God. And I will say to myself in the mirror, be nice to Laura Ingraham before I go to work. Fuck yourself, Ed.
What a fucking pussy. Oh, what a fucking pussy.
Ugh.
That's disgusting.
I will never, and I vow to never use those words again.
Fucking, go ahead.
Tonight, you have my word that I won't.
What word? Slut?
Laura Ingraham,
fake groveling asshole.
Very sorry.
Are you?
And to this day, I haven't. That went on for 9 minutes. I just played you a short clip of it. This weekend, Laura Ingraham tweeted she was still waiting for President Obama's call because of a comment that I made a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, she got a call from me. She accepted my apology on Fox News, and we moved on. I did restitution. I was off the air for a week. Now she's using it as an attack on President Obama. Once again, the right wing is making a false comparison between myself and Rush Limbaugh.
It's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
What false comparison?
But this is a great example.
Did both use the word slut?
Yes.
This is how people think.
Yeah.
What I did is different than you.
Right.
What I did is forgivable, defendable, and acceptable. And what you did is not.
Because the way I handled it was brilliant. So
why? Because Rush didn't do the fake groveling apology. Rush's apology was kind of more real. He didn't want to do it, but you could hear it in his voice. This was practice. This guy practices apology. You can see.
Said that apology went off on 9 agonizing minutes.
He might have went to an acting coach even.
Yeah.
It's so obvious he practiced that shit and how he was going to do it on camera. Oh my God!
What a fraud!
Finish the clip up.
It's like this is a perfect example, and they do it on the right too. It's like nobody. Just admits, that we shouldn't. I don't like what he said, and that's the end of it. Let him say it. She's got the right to say it.
Because I refresh my memory, but when Imus went down, right? I don't think Fox.
They supported Imus, I think.
Fox
I know Hannity did, sure. Hannity's a free speech guy.
But he's different because Hannity is a guy that will support no matter what. That's what I've always liked about the guy. I don't agree with him politically, but he supports all these guys when they get in trouble. He gets it. He gets the big picture.
And Imus.
What about the rest of them, though?
I don't remember. I don't remember. But I think again there was also a racial element there, which Fox, let me tell you something, is no better than MSNBC. When it comes to race, they are as groveling and as frightened of being accused of being racist as any other network. They're all the same with that one.
Fair enough.
Terrible.
Finish the Ed Schultz clip.
Statement said he sincerely apologized to Sandra Fluke. A sincere apology is unequivocal and accepts complete responsibility for the offense. Mr. Limbaugh, we are still waiting for you to take personal responsibility for your actions. We are still waiting. But we all know you don't have the character to do it.
Oh, but you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you're so full of character.
Exactly.
Yeah, really,
fuck you.
What a douche. That's everything.
I knew you guys would love that clip.
And everyone will jump in and go, well, here's why Ed Schultz is different. He's the same thing. He did something scumbaggish. He had to apologize. He was going to get in trouble. He was afraid. Rush does it, but here's why Rush should get in trouble and I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
But it's so, unfortunately, it's so predictable.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yes, it is, Jim.
I hate the fact that he believes this. Well, this is different, and I'll tell you why. What he explained to me was the same situation.
Thank you.
We defend every radio show. Black guys that get in trouble, the Latin guys that got in trouble, the conservatives, all of them we stick up for. And I don't listen to almost any of their shows.
Yeah, and there's some shows, I like to see them get in trouble because I don't like them personally. But in the end, I support their right to say shit.
Yeah.
God, it's
you
fucking,
gotta.
It's... You keep hoping that someday, and because that one day will come where it all kind of lines up and you can have everyone in a room and make the argument and then everyone can see your point. It just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
Political talk is really hot right now in regular radio. It's all about political talk and sports talk. And this will affect how a shitload of shows do their show.
Yeah.
Do people understand that?
No. They don't.
More guys getting in trouble. Now it's Rush. It's the this guy said this on the radio. It's fucking the Jeremy Lin comment. There is so much thought policing going on, and none of these guys are violating what the FCC has put in place. None of them. So is that what the free market society says? That all of a sudden all of these guys are saying things that are so horrible, and the free market is walking away from?
And there's a website some lady started, I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's Get Rush Limbaugh Off the Air. And she was so excited to announce last night that there are over 100,000 signatures already to get him off the air. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't imagine you're in your car, you hear something you don't like, and you lose your fucking mind and have to start writing letters and calling advertisers and calling the radio station. I don't understand the mentality that goes behind that. I've been offended listening to radio before, but never took that step. Why would you take that step? Why?
Because they don't care about what he really said. He's wounded. This is their chance, and they're going after him. That's all it is. Oh. And they won't be honest enough to admit that. And MSNBC...
But I'm talking about the people that aren't have any political interest here.
They still hate him, too, though.
But you see it on Twitter. You can tell they're not, politically motivated. They're just dummies.
They just don't like him. People just don't like him sometimes because he's Rush. He's like the picture of the right wing.
Yeah, it has been for years.
So turn off the fucking station. I've done it a million fucking times.
MSNBC... The Ed Show, it's amazing to me how he figures out why his apology is better. And his network hired Sharpton. It's like
Yeah.
The hypocrisy, you can't even... There will never come a day where you can, again, sit everybody in a room and that hypocrisy can just be talked out and everybody goes, oh, that's right. And I have to realize that because I get so frustrated and that day will never come.
I can't even imagine what Sharpton said last night. I was busy. I was going to try to, search that out.
Yeah, I bet you he didn't defend
him. I can't even imagine.
They pal around and have little chit-chats at a table on MSNBC with a guy that said Greek homos and incited riots amongst the Jews and blacks.
Tell those Jews, what do you say? We'll get it on. Those white interlopers in Harlem.
Yeah.
Freddie's, which is, of course, I believe was the Freddie's Fashion Mart problem. And that fire that was set and that guy that died or those people that died. He's just done nothing but incite people to fucking misery.
And he wants to set the standards for everybody.
He's he's an absolute
that guy
fraud.
Wants. Right.
And they accept him.
Right.
They accept him. And I know you got to forgive and forget, but where's the forgiving and forgetting coming on this side? It doesn't happen.
Nope. Moving on. Pains me to play this next clip, but you got to do it, man. We're a pretty honest show. We try to be, at least.
And by the way, I'm sorry, Greg Weiser, sorry. Be back in an hour. Hopefully you're finished with the right-wing ass-kissing.
Is that what this is?
But
really?
Do you really believe that?
Just calling out.
I'm even telling you, I don't listen to Rush Limbaugh's show. I didn't like his show.
This is the exact same break we did when Imus got in trouble. And Imus certainly is not a right-winger. So this is what Imus said. Kind of disappointing. I think he's a little gun-shy. I think I don't know. We'll play the clip, I guess, and then we'll discuss it. This is what Imus said yesterday about Rush Limbaugh. Of course.
A little commercial.
The news this morning, 7 companies now pulling their advertising from the Rush Limbaugh radio program after his comments about that Georgetown law student who had been speaking out about whether birth control should be covered by insurance. Limbaugh did apologize over the weekend for...
No, I didn't. That was first of all, he was a fat, gutless, pill-popping loser.
and to apologize, a lame apology on his website, in which he says he didn't mean to personally attack her, is gutless. And a sustained, vile personal attack of this woman over 3 days. So if you want to apologize, you have to go sit down with her face to face and say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it again. Anything short of that, he's a fat, gutless loser. And if I'm running a radio station, he's not on it. So
he had called this woman Sandra Fluke
until he does that.
Right, he called her a slut and called her a prostitute on his show last week.
Man, it was fourth grade stuff, round heels, and she has so much sex you can't walk. I mean, come on.
So 7 companies now dropping their advertising. The 7th was a flower company, Pro Flowers, that has announced it. So, as we know, heard on Limbaugh's show, heard on hundreds of radio stations all around the country, including our flagship station, WAB, in New York. Also,
it's too bad.
What's he talking about?
It's too bad. He understands this game.
Yeah.
I don't know why are people obsessed with the politics of Rush during this? Like you're the right wing ass, cause like why I'm not defending his politics or condemning them. I don't give a fuck about them. Why is anybody bringing up his politics in the middle of what's happening right now? This has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'll scream for another day about it. They still won't get it because that's what I've been trying to say. I'll say it again. I don't really necessarily like Rush or his show. What do you think went on when Imus there? It's the same thing that happened to you, Imus. You didn't want to apologize.
I know.
And then you sat down face to face with Reverend Al. That was embarrassing.
It was.
And by the way, and that's,
you had to suck up to his fat fucking ass.
And that's what ruined Imus, was that apology to Reverend Al, because he should have attacked him.
Right.
That fat motherfucker sat there and he brought his daughter in.
Right.
And again, love to see what's on her iPod. Mm-hmm. Love to see if there's fucking guys on there that have called women nappy-headed hoes and bitches. Come on, Imus, you didn't handle it well. Like that face-to-face apology sunk you.
Right. And you understand the game like we do, that Rush didn't even want to apologize for something he said on his program. He shouldn't have to.
And I'm a shouldn't have
shouldn't have to. And of course. Of course. Well, everyone's talking about the apology. Is this new? Did we play this yesterday? The Rush Limbaugh explains his apology on the air?
No.
This is new?
I think it's new, right?
His apology was on Saturday, so this would have been on his show yesterday.
You can tell by
Monday.
You could tell by Rush's body language that he's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, he's
slumped
out.
over a little bit. His voice has a slight quiver in it now.
Yep.
Oh, my God. We've been there.
But if
we've been there.
If they're smart, they'll stick with him because he's not going to lose his audience. The amount of people are not going to go away. If this Clear Channel is smart, they will stay with him. If they make the short-sighted move and get rid of him, it is a dumb fucking move. Mm-hmm. It's a dumb move.
I want to explain why I apologized to Sandra Fluke in the statement that was released on Saturday. I've read all the theories from all sides.
Let's see if he's honest.
And frankly, they are all wrong. I don't expect, and I know you don't either, morality, intellectual honesty from the left. They've demonstrated over and over a willingness to say or do anything to advance their agenda. It's what they do. It's what we fight against here every day. But this is the mistake I made. In fighting them on this issue last week, I became like them. Against my own instincts, against my own knowledge, against everything I know to be right and wrong, I descended to their level. When I
pause this real quick,
words,
please? Yeah. He's annoying me. It's like, you know what?
Of course.
Stop.
He's making it political.
He's making it fucking political. Shut up, Rush. You didn't handle it. He probably, look, from a tactical point of view, he misread the amount of shit that he was going to hear for this, and he did it. He kept going after her.
Right.
So I think that's why it's just, like, you keep this. Logan was good at that. When we got in trouble, and Logan was smart, and he's the one that kept saying, get ahead of the story with the homeless Charlie thing. And in a weird way, them XM, as much as I hated them for yanking the show, that probably saved the show because, all right, here's what's happening. It's done. They're pulled for a month. And there was nowhere else for them to go because there was no new sound clips. There was no nothing. The apology was read, and that was it.
Right.
So we had our own thing, but
he knew how to take care of it. But
knew how to take care of it.
We're here to tell you that he didn't believe that we should be off the air or any of that shit. He just knew, okay, if we do this, we could save the show.
Remember how fun it was going home at 9?
It was great. We loved it.
At 9 o'clock in the morning.
We didn't get punished.
No.
We still got paid to do less radio.
I was eating fruit salad watching Lost by 9:20 every morning. I was going to the box.
We had to make believe, we're not getting paid for months. We got every fucking penny.
Every penny.
And Logan didn't believe that, that we needed to be punished.
But the way he's trying to say, I stooped to their level.
Yeah, he's making it political too.
He's just trying to do it in the Rush Limbaugh fashion. It's like, just, if you got to apologize, all right, you got to apologize. But don't be a fucking dick about it. Just go, look, I fucked up, in real terms.
No one is honest.
Don't say
anymore.
fucked up.
When I used those 2 words to describe Sandra Fluke, that was my error. I became like them. And I feel very badly about that. I've always tried to maintain a very high degree of integrity and independence
by being high
on this program.
You hear how dry his mouth is?
Yeah.
Nevertheless, those 2 words.
I'm sorry I did
were
that.
Inappropriate.
He won't even say the words.
No.
He won't even say the word. Slut! Prostitute! Slut! Prostitute! He is fucking nervous, dude, because he can't believe he's in this position.
Right.
He can't believe that this is happening to him.
He's pretty amazed, and that's why he kept going on for 3 days, because that's what he's done in the past.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm safe here.
He should be safe there.
This. Of course.
They were uncalled for. They distracted from the point that I was actually trying to make. And I again sincerely apologize to Ms. Fluke for using those 2 words to describe her.
Fluke.
I do not think she is either of those 2 words.
He won't say the words. His station manager, somebody got to him and said, look, or maybe probably the head of Clear Channel. He probably deals with the head of Clear Channel.
Well, he's got his own network, right? He's his own
the
boss.
Excellence in Broadcasting Network.
You're right.
He's got. His partner is pretty much Clear Channel, I would assume. So I'm sure he talked to some powerful people.
So he lost a couple. How many stations is he on though? He's on a fucking
1,000.
He's on a no.
He's way up there.
Yeah,
how many stations?
I'll double check, but last I heard he was over 550.
Oh my god.
Yeah, probably
500 stations. Holy shit.
That's crazy, man.
But you hear 2 stations dropped. You're like, wow, that's huge. Not really in the scheme of things. Frank wants in. Frank in New York.
Oh, Frank was better.
Frank, what's up, buddy? Frank.
Yeah.
Hi, Frank.
Go ahead, man.
All right. First and foremost, I don't understand why you guys have such an issue with people getting outraged and upset by these comments. You defend the folks' right to say it. So you defend Rush's right to say it. You don't agree with it, but you think it's okay for him to say what he wants to say. But then you get really upset when people get angry about it. So wouldn't you equally defend their right to get upset?
Yeah,
that we. Yeah, sure. We said that. You're absolutely have a right to be offended. I don't think you have the right to be offended and then try to take a show off the air because you don't like it.
That's the problem.
That's I guess what our point is.
And I really don't, honestly, Frank, I don't believe the offense. I just don't buy it because it's too arbitrary. Just like Ed Schultz, what I did is okay, what he did is not. It's if people were fairly consistent in their morality, I'd buy it, but they're not. So I just don't believe, because these same people were not nearly as outraged, I'm sure, when Bill Maher was calling Sarah Palin a cunt. I wasn't offended at what he said, and I'm not offended at what Rush said. I just don't buy it.
Yeah, but don't you think different people get offended by different things? So
Yes.
You're not going to get the same level of outrage for every single little thing.
Sure, but I don't, like Opie said, if they're offended, why want something removed just because you didn't like it?
And I get
that's the call to action, though. That's what if that's what you want to do when you get upset, then that's what you do when you get upset.
Okay, that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, that's just what you like. That's as good as just doing. If you don't do anything about it, well, I'm really pissed, and I don't think you should have the right to say it. So I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to let him sit, keep doing what.
Yes, Frank. That's what freedom of speech is. That's what it is.
Great, but that's the same freedom that you have to afford to these people when they get upset. They want to say what they want to say, and they want to have action just like anyone else.
Why would they want action? This is what I don't get.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? I'll tell you why.
Yes.
Hold on, Frank. As a citizen, I've been offended, and I dislike a lot of things that a lot of people say. A lot of them. And I don't want them removed from their jobs. So I hold other people to the same standards that I hold myself to.
But not everyone operates under the same standards that you do.
Okay,
All right,
then
Frank,
they don't want complete freedom of speech. Then let them just say that. They want freedom of speech that goes hand in hand with their ideological beliefs or their belief system.
Frank, let me ask you this: What do you like? Do you like our radio show? What's your number one radio show? Is it us or somebody else?
No, I listen to you guys every morning.
Okay, let's say someone didn't like what we said, and they get us kicked off the air. Are you gonna be mad?
Honestly, no.
All right.
I mean, look,
You answered it fairly.
Not to be a dick about it, right?
But you do understand a lot of people will be really fucking pissed off that if we get kicked off the air, right?
Yeah, of course. And no,
and you would be fine with that. That just amazes me.
No, hang on. I wouldn't be bummed. I wouldn't be pissed like I'm outraged and I'm going to start complaining. I'd be like, oh, it sucks. The show I listen to is up there, but oh well, life goes on.
But you think those people have the right to take the Opie and Anthony show off the air because they personally were offended?
Yes, because
that's
they
crazy.
have the same right to do what they need to do.
See, that's
but Frank, okay. So how about somebody comes out? Sorry, so somebody comes out and says, "Hey, I'm all for gay marriage." That offends vilely a giant percent of the population is offended by that concept and that thought. So if you just come out and state that you're for that, you are offending a lot of people. So should you be yanked for that, or is it only things said to be funny?
It depends, Jim, because just like yesterday, you guys were playing the Kirk Cameron clip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was asked the question, what's your opinion? If someone asks you what your opinion is and you offer it, well, you're just offering your opinion as based on what you were asked. But if I go around barking arbitrarily that I'm for gay marriage and someone gets pissed off at that, like I'm making that my platform, well, that's happened. That's happened.
Oh, you frighten me, dude. You frighten me because I'll tell you why. Because listen to all these asterisks you have. Asterisks, hard to pluralize. As to when somebody can say what they want without penalty.
No, I'm not that guy. I'm not that
But
guy.
you really are, Frank.
You
and you
just
don't mean to be.
yourself as that guy.
Frank, you don't mean to be, but you are that guy.
Can you tell me how so? I don't understand.
I'll tell you.
How so?
You think, when Opie said you're okay with people taking something off just because people are offended, you said yes, because you think that is people doing what they have to do, a call to action. You think call to action means I hear something I don't like and I want that person removed? You're supposed to defend people's right to say things you don't like as long as they're not violating one of those, I guess, 3 freedom of speech things, time, place, and manner. You're supposed to defend people's right to do that whether you like it or what they're saying or not.
Aren't you equally supposed to defend their right to say they want that show off the air? And then if the management kowtows to those people and takes them off the air, well, then that's what they did.
The question I'm asking, Frank...
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, buddy. The question I'm asking is, why want them off the air?
Because, look, that's just what they're called. Look, that's what they want. That's what they want, right?
No, that's not a real answer. Why?
Hang on. Do I think that it's maybe an overreaction? Maybe. But if that's what they want to do, I can't get in their heads and decide, well that's why they want them off the air.
That
like what was said, they're putting a call, and you use
all right. You're saying the same thing over again. That part of your argument, I don't necessarily disagree, but the problem is there's no way for the audience of a really popular show to organize. So they're at a disadvantage whenever they get in trouble.
And when I said to Frank, this is why you scare me, because when I said to you, if you said you're for gay marriage, that offends a lot of people. A lot worse than, like what Rush said is people just jumping on. But when you say you're for gay marriage, that offends people to their guts, like really like religious conservatives.
Right.
And you said, instead, your answer should have been, when I said, should you be in trouble for that? Never. But you actually said, and you meant it, well, if you're asked your opinion, that's one thing. But if you make it, you found a reason why it would be okay.
Same reason yesterday.
Oh,
you were the one who, when they played it, you said, well, you can't argue with the guy. He was asked his opinion. He didn't offer it, but he was goaded into the answer.
Yeah, but he's also not being pulled off. He's not being pulled off the air. I was actually saying, why would people get mad at a guy for offering his opinion when asked. If he had a radio show, hold on, Frank.
Oh my God!
If he had a radio show, I wouldn't say why was he giving his opinion. I'd know he was because it was his radio show and his job. This was something he was asked out of context with his job, and he answered it. There is a difference.
So of course, there's a difference between Rush calling a chick a slut and some dude going on a radio show and saying I'm for gay marriage.
But he was being. Why is there a difference? When one is
difference because one is fucking slander and the other one is
no, but one is not. First of all, things said in humor are not slander because Elizabeth Taylor tried to sue Joan. Okay, you know the answer to this. Elizabeth Taylor tried to sue Joan Rivers because of all of those things that she used to say on the Tonight Show. She would blast her, and what happened was because it said in humor. It's allowable. And he was not really saying that. He was making fun of what she said. She testified something before Congress. He had a reaction. Why don't you just admit you don't really like Rush Limbaugh?
I think what Kirk Cameron said is way more offensive.
It's gross.
It's and way more hurtful. But guess what? Kirk Cameron should be able to say whatever the hell he wants on CNN, and Rush should be able to say whatever the hell he wants on the radio show.
Although Neil Patrick Harris was a little miffed about what
did he say again?
He Twittered... He goes, oh, that Kirk Cameron, he's wacky. Something like that, which was just kind of like, oh, boy, he's a gay basher.
I don't want Kirk Cameron removed from the airwaves because of what he said.
I want him removed because of his horrible religious movies he produces.
And I think what he said was sickening.
Exactly.
Like, we're defending Kirk Cameron, and I hate what he said. And I don't like him. I think he's a twat.
Exactly.
I think he's a jerk off to feel that way about gay marriage.
You should be able to debate and have an open discussion about it, but you shouldn't want these guys completely removed.
I agree, and you should defend everyone's right to say, I'm a free speech guy, too.
No, you're not.
You're
not even close.
God,
you're not even close to a free speech guy, Frank. You got to realize that.
Frank,
you're not even close.
Go ahead. It's your show. Go ahead.
I know
it is, fuckhead.
Frank, I know you think you are, and look, I'm not saying you're a Nazi, but I'm listening to you talk, and like what you're saying is really like, this is how the country thinks. We're all free speech. What's that?
Isn't it how the country thinks, unfortunately? Isn't it?
In a way, here's what it is. It's my idea of free speech is important if it goes hand in hand with what I think, and if it doesn't, I will find a reason as to why it's okay to remove it. And I don't have that for myself. I hate what Kirk Cameron said, and I want him to suffer no penalty. That's what free speech is.
Yes. Great. But equally, people are going to be pissed off about it, and they're going to do things to try to get those things removed because they didn't like it. I'm not saying I agree with that either, but I'm saying you have to equally support.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Okay.
I have the right.
They have free speech. Don't support somebody's right to say what they want to say, but then don't support the backlash of people's right to say what they want.
People can say what they want, but they want him to be removed for saying it.
And the people with the loudest voices out there with this Rush thing don't even listen to his show. That's the problem. If Rush listeners had a huge issue with this, they would stop listening. The ratings would go down, and then the problem would take care of itself. But it has nothing to do with Rush Limbaugh listeners.
You're trying to make the connection that
in general,
from
by the way,
Rush saying what he said and us supporting him is exactly like people trying to get him thrown off the air, and we should support that. It doesn't work like that.
Okay. Then don't support. Okay, so you don't want to support his right to say if you don't support the backlash.
Frank, you're not a free speech guy.
I could support people saying, hey, I'm offended by what Rush said. I disagree with it wholeheartedly. Yeah. I'll support that. But I'm not going to support somebody trying to get him thrown off the fucking air and lose his job. That's a threat for your freedom of speech. That is a threat based on, I don't like what you're saying, so I'm going to take something from you. That is not freedom of speech.
And ultimately, you should be pissed off at the management that gives in to the minority that requests. Not the people who are looking at it. You want to be pissed off at them, that's fine too. But then you should be more pissed off at the management that gives in.
We hate when management gives in. We hate when sponsors and management give in. Yes, of course.
But I also hate the wormy public because what gets you in trouble changes. It's a changing ideology in that. Again, the gay marriage thing. Years ago, you could do racial humor. It wasn't a problem. Now you can't do it. Years ago, you could do this. Now you can't do it. And what's okay today won't be okay 6 months from now. So it just continues to change. And as special interest groups get more and more powerful, they go under the guise of being offended to have things they just disagree with removed. And for you to sit here and make all these arguments and think that you're a real free speech guy, you're representing a large piece of the country. But as far as I'm concerned, you mean well, and you're absolutely not a free speech guy.
Bravo.
All right, then I probably didn't. Bravo.
No, but bravo. Jimmy explained you perfectly. You have every right to say what you're saying on our show today, but don't say you're for freedom of speech, because you're absolutely not.
You're not.
So admit that at least.
Why would I admit it if I don't believe it?
Well, I think you're sincere, Frank. I think you're being honest. I don't think you're being full of shit. And I think that you really believe that you are. But I'm just listening to you. I've had this discussion 500 times because it's what we do for a living. And it's one of those things where I pay attention to all of it because it affects us a great deal. It affects me in stand-up. It affects me. It's like you kind of, that's why we become obsessed with it.
I understand. I understand why you guys are obsessed. Believe me, I really do. And I don't agree with your assessment of me because I probably didn't explain myself.
Okay.
Ultimately, what it comes down to is I honestly don't give a fuck. You can say whatever you want to say. I don't give a shit personally. But if someone wants to get pissed off about it and they want to fucking picket and protest and get you thrown off or whatever medium you're on, I don't give a fuck about that either because ultimately I still got a fucking life that I got to deal with and bills I got to fucking pay, and it doesn't bother me to my core like it does everyone else.
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry. What kind of work do you do?
I'm in IT.
Okay. I'm trying to think of something that would affect... because again, to people who don't use, you talk in your job, but for people who don't make their living with it, it's not as important. Because like you said, you got to go out and make your living. But I'm trying to think of something that would affect IT that most of the rest of us wouldn't give a shit about. And I know nothing about IT. God damn, I couldn't have another job.
Well, I think you go with another angle. What kind of entertainment does Frank enjoy? And you're fine with people just taking that away from you? Because
minstrel shows.
No. I'm misunderstanding what I'm saying.
I don't think you're passionate enough about the Opie and Anthony show. So what else do you like entertainment wise in your life that you really dig?
Child pornography.
Yeah, it's really vile stuff.
Scat.
Human sacrifice.
And how would you feel if that was taken away?
I'm not passionate enough about any entertainment that I'd be pissed off if it was taken away.
Okay.
But hang on. When I say I wouldn't be pissed off about it, I'm saying I don't give a fuck if it goes or not because it's just there at the time and it'll be gone eventually. And if it's gone, it's gone. I'm not going to have this emotional tie to a show where if it's gone, I'm going to throw up my arms and start protesting. Then fucking it's gone.
That's how a lot of people are. He's passive about his entertainment. He doesn't give a shit one way or the other. That's how a lot of people. That's how Howard's audience was. I mean, a lot of them went to satellite here. A lot didn't because that's how they see it. It was great when it was on, but it's not. And people got to go home and take care of their kids. They don't give a shit.
Right.
That's what it is, Jim. That's exactly what it is. I just don't have that tie where I'm that passionate about it. If it fucking goes, it goes. Like if you guys were off the air tomorrow because some protest group fucking did something and they took you up there. Oh, well, fucking show was really good, man.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I think people should be able to yell and scream about something they're offended by, but I don't understand getting it yanked off the air because they are personally offended. That's the point we're making today.
Free speech is tolerating things you don't like and not wanting them removed. Like when you say, why don't I support those people? Of course they have the right to complain. I'm not questioning their right to complain. But when they want something removed and when they target the advertisers and say, don't put your money here, I don't like what he said, so I won't buy your flowers. That's going way beyond not liking. That is wanting somebody removed for giving an opinion or making a joke that you find offensive. And in my whole life, I have never once had that desire. So it's one of the few things I really like about myself is that I don't want other people penalized for what I don't agree with.
And advertisers absolutely have the right to leave these radio shows. Of course.
I agree with you. I'm not that guy either. I would never ask for a show to be pulled off of. I've never actually been offended by anything anyone has ever said in regards to entertainment. So I agree with you. But what I'm saying is if these protesters and these people want, that's what their call is and that's what they want to do, okay, then go ahead and try it. Try to get them off the air. And if management's going to give in to that like a bunch of fucking pussies, then that's on them.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that point.
Management ultimately are the ones who fire you, and they are the ones that are despicable at the end of it.
And that's what we don't understand in this whole thing, and that's why we yell and scream really loud about it, that fucking management, the companies in general got to stick by their guys, and these advertisers got to show a little more bravery. They run away scared. by a special interest group, a minority. Ann said it earlier. I agree with them. It's a minority of people getting to the advertisers, and then the advertisers get scared and remove their ads.
Look at South Park. It's a show that has raised a lot of controversy. There's been death threats because of their jokes about Islam, and Comedy Central has done the right thing and stuck with them. And look what's happened. Nothing.
Right.
It's been a whole bunch of bullshit, a bunch of complaining, a bunch of nonsense. And that's still an edgy show. It's still a funny show. And it's still seen as parody because dumb Americans that we are, only cartoons are where we see real. We allow South Park to do it because as an idiotic country that we are, we see cartoons as safe parody. We're dummy. We're dumb.
Of course.
Yeah. We're not bright people. We think we're a bright nation, but we're not. We accept it from cartoons.
Because South Park in the end probably says a lot worse than Rush said.
Oh my
right?
God!
And they fought tooth and nail. And at this point, they're untouchable. South Park.
Yeah.
They now laugh when someone tries to go after them. Like, really?
They don't care.
We've been down this road already. You're going to lose because we're supporting the show because it brings in huge fucking ratings.
Yeah, it's a bigger show.
All right, Frank.
All right,
Frank.
Good talk as usual, guys.
Frank.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough phone call. I don't really agree with him, but fair enough. That's how he thinks. Wow.
Wowie wah wah wah.
Mm-hmm.
People, it just amazes me. I mean, and you start second guessing yourself. Like, am I wrong here? What?
No.
I
know what you mean. Where you see, like, you're trying to see it from someone else's point of view.
Their point of view.
But people who get offended, we've dealt with them enough. They are most times showboating. Most times there's another motive behind the offense. They want to use this moment to it's like when a group latches onto you. It's parasitic. You want to use the moment to launch into something else. That's all it is. You want to use this moment. It's like if you're mad at your chick for something and all of a sudden dinner's cold and you use it to fucking get her to finally give you the blowjob you wanted, but she wouldn't give you. Well, it's a terrible example, but that's what it is. Sandra Fluke would do it for money. That was my Rush impression.
Unbelievable.
But that's how people think. And nobody ever wants to admit. Like, nobody will ever say, like, yeah, you know what? I am for free speech, kind of, but not completely. There's always a justification. Always. And that's how everybody is. And it's like, that's why you can't win arguments or debates, because everybody feels
most people like that,
justified.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's tough to defend something you're offended by.
Dude,
it really is. I get that part of it, but you got to do it.
Ed Schultz believes what he's saying. He really absolutely. He knows. I mean, he knows he's playing a game.
Phony, man.
But I do too. But he also knows. He thinks that what he did was different than what Imus did because he handled the apology differently and he did this differently. Instead of just, Rush. Instead of just realizing I said something fucked up, he said something fucked up. Yeah. I survived. He should survive.
Right. But no, he's got to make it. It's different.
Yeah.
This guy should be fired, obviously, because he did. Okay, the same thing I did. But.
And by the way, if the president had called and gotten involved during your story, let's see how you would have handled it.
Yeah.
That's how this story got kept going because Obama called this woman. Mm. What is Rush supposed to do? Grovel and apologize because Obama calls her?
Right.
Which I thought was inappropriate. Why would the president of the free world waste his time with this dog shit?
It's dog shit in the end.
It's dog shit.
As far as where he sits. It's been said a lot. Disagree with what he says, but defend his right to say it. That's what it's about.
Always is.
But for some reason, people don't really understand that. What?
7:20?
Yeah.
I thought it was 6:06.
That went fast.
Yeah. I know.
Yep. What did Barbara Walters say? I see you have that up on the screen.
I'm sure it was
Sandra Fluke was on The View, right?
Yeah, no.
She's now a big star.
Oh, she made the rounds. Yeah, she's loving it.
Argument that she was still private.
And wasn't she, by the way, involved in some big birth control movement, and that's why she joined? I mean, I don't know if that's true, but there's something to her that's more. Boy, fucking Breitbart's dead. Rush is in trouble. Although the right's taking a few hits.
Yeah, taking some hits. Damn.
I was wondering if Barbara supported Rush or not.
Did Rush support Imus?
Huh?
Did he?
Someone wrote that he did.
Oh, okay.
I really don't know, though. It's just one guy, so I'm not even sure. One guy said that when we were playing the Imus clip, he was surprised because he said, I believe Rush supported.
He might be confusing him with Hannity. Because I don't remember Rush
I'm not really
supporting
sure,
him.
to be honest with you. Maybe we could look into that.
It's like, come on, Amos, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was kind of depressing, right? People ask, like, oh, now what are you going to say? Because look what Imus said. I'm like, look, I'm going to say the exact same
Here's
thing.
what we're gonna
I'm
say.
going to tell you that I'm disappointed in Imus.
Right.
He knows this game, too. And he's been around longer than us.
And she does not want him to apologize to her person to person. She won't even probably take his call. Because she's in a point now, when the president calls you, there's nowhere to go from there. You're not going to get a better phone call. So she would almost rather be on the side that is watching Rush swing. Because I guarantee if Obama didn't call her and a guy of Rush Limbaugh's power called her and said, I'm really sorry, and blah, 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 it would mean something. But after Obama calls you, no phone call you get means anything. She doesn't even want a call from him, she said.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to attack the broad. I don't know anything about her.
I don't care about her either way.
I just know what Rush said was within his rights of
she should suck.
Absolutely was.
She should suck more dick. That's what I say. You don't want babies? Don't make me porf. Suck more dick, fan. Suck more dick, Inspector Gadget.
Rush has over 600 stations.
Fan.
Every state. He's got every state. And in a lot of cases, more than one fucking station. Obviously, if it's 600.
Yeah.
Do the math, idiot. Holy fuck, did I just say that? I guess that would average over 10 per state.
Yeah.
12 per state. 12 per state to be.
This guy's on the radio so much he would live in a little transistor or something, right?
That doesn't even make sense, Chip.
I think what Rush said is so rude and
Valley Jimmy.
Inappropriate.
But is it grody?
It's so grody. You don't like Valley Jim?
Hate Valley Jim. I don't protect Valley Jim's right to say anything.
You don't enjoy
Where freedom of speech ends for me.
You don't enjoy Valley Jim?
Valley Jim. Oh.
I think Chip should be taken off the air. We're being honest today.
I don't think that he should have said those things. I think they were so rude. And Sandra Fluke should really be upset. I know I would.
Ugh. Please fire him.
Why? I would want some granola and just not to say grody things.
Oh, my God. Grody things. What does that even mean in this day and age?
It's just not rad to say that stuff.
Is it not rad to say that stuff? Oh, boy.
Gag me with a spoon.